I have a couple of things that I wanted to get off my chest regarding the last 10, 15 years in this business. I wanted to start with a big one. Do you remember that ad from Ty Lopez, the knowledge video? Yeah, that was huge. I think it's got like 60 million views. It was the most watched marketing commercial, I think, or marketing related video at the time. I guess Hormozy is already past that, but even if not, Ty Lopez made his mark back in the day. The reason why I brought that up is because I was one of the guys, one of those youngsters back in the day, as I mentioned 10, 15 years ago, who sat in front of his computer, just like many of you guys must have done. And I was amazed by this young entrepreneur in Beverly Hills with two Lamborghinis, or I think it was a Lamborghini and a Ferrari, as far as I'm concerned, talking about books. And I thought, hey, that's me. That's me in the future because I was reading books as well. In fact, I've got quite a few right here next to me as well. I'm reading these. Um, and long story cut short, at the time, I was doing the same, exactly the same thing that I do right now. I'm just sitting in front of a computer and with my books and everything. And I thought, okay, that was mental masturbating. Yeah, sorry, but that was it because the books were next to me and I was watching an entrepreneur. I thought that I'm making it. And back in the day, it was easy. Back in the day, it was extremely easy because people like Ty Lopez and who else was there? Dan Locke, for example. Uh, they were out there, and it was so accessible for them because it was so cheap for to advertise these kind of things. It was so accessible to them to sell us the dream. And I remember back in the day, that's how I started. I started my first Shopify store because I saw one of these younglings on Facebook popping up saying, if you invest $100 on ads with Facebook, you can make $1,200 back, 12 times your money. Not even S&P 500 can do that, but this guy promised the world basically. Obviously, that was just one hiccup. I had to buy his course for $149, which I did promptly, like everybody else did. And basically, it was regurgitated content with good at Facebook advertising, if you know what I mean. They just knew how to start a Facebook ad, and they taught you how to do this because it was quite a new thing. Why I'm talking about this? Okay, I get to the point. I get to the point. I just need to paint you a picture, okay, before we get to the point. So right now, the same thing's happening. Okay, what's happening right now? Back in the day, your Jeff Walkers, okay, the guys who actually did it, the guys who actually did it with webinars, with email marketing stuff, like Jeff Walkers, Onyx Singals, they were right in the back. You couldn't get close to them because they were writing a book. Okay, like MJ DeMarco, for example, loved his books. I still do. They were just writing a book and maybe running like a small community, far from the today's communities on Facebook and school and go high level and stuff like that. They had their own website and their own forums back in the day. Okay, so you had to actually actively look for these opportunities. They weren't advertised. So if you wanted to buy Jeff Walker's book, you could buy his book, which is right here. So if you wanted to buy this book, Jeff Walker's The Launch, then um, you had to go through maximum loops to get this. I actually was able to order this on eBay, of all places, because um, it's not printed anymore. So I had to buy it used back in the day. Now, why I'm talking about this, okay? Because those were the real guys. Jeff Walker, Onyx Singal, and Jeremy Bellardi, and most of these other people who were not loud. So you had to actively look for these mentors, right? They were the real deal. I remember when I bought this book from Jeff Walker. This book, highly recommend it. If you can find it, go ahead. I think you can buy it from his website now, not from Amazon. From his website, you have to order it from him, the guy himself. That's again, that's a nonsense thing. Everybody buys books on Amazon, and this wasn't available on Amazon. I kid you not. I had to buy it off eBay, off somebody used. But when I read this book, it was full of so much information for $9.99 that all of the courses I bought as with a young mind back in the day combined thousands of dollars worth. was nothing compared to this book. Why? Because the real deal, the real man, the man behind the whole thing actually wrote this. The real dude. It wasn't like a youngster who just came up with a funny idea and had only one successful Facebook ad and once and made $1,000 and then now came out and said, I made $1,000 a day. I'm going to teach you how to do this for $199. This guy wasn't that. This guy was the real deal. So why am I talking about this right now? Because today, if you want to know more about Jeff Walker, for example, or how to do this, you go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever AI you're using, because everybody does now. Okay. You just simply type in a prompt that starts with, you are Jeff Walker, or you are Alex Hormozy, or you are, I don't know who else, Cody Sanchez, and you are going to be my mentor going forward. I am starting this and this and that, and I want you to behave like a mentor, da 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 da. You know the deal. That's what it's going to do. So now this AI thingy can crawl under the skin of Jeff Walker or even Dale Carnegie, for instance, and give you advice like Dale Carnegie was sitting in front of you, or Jeff Walker was sitting in front of you, or MJ DeMarco, or Brian Tracy. So to access the knowledge of these highly respected mentors have become, I'm going to use the word diluted thanks to AI, but on the contrary as well, it just became more accessible. So now I don't have to scrape the internet for a forum or a group where all the big boys are hanging out. I don't have to look through all the Reddit posts to find someone out there who actually knows what they're talking about. I can just simply go to AI and say, behave like Alex Hormozy, and tell me what I'm doing wrong. So in my business, in my line of business, I help entrepreneurs like yourself going from 5 figures to 6 figures and 6 figures to 7. I've done that in the past with multiple clients, and I'm so proud of that work. And every single time that we sit down with a client, they come back to me with one sentence. And that's how I know I'm doing a great job. And that's why I'm proud of it, actually. And that's why I started this YouTube channel. They tell me that I couldn't figure this out with AI. That's where we live in now. When I sit down with you, for example, and you think that, for instance, that something is wrong with your webinar, we look through your webinar. I actually check out your webinar myself, make notes and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's not the webinar. It's something before or after that, or your whole system, or your mindset, or the way you pitch your product, or sometimes it's even the landing page. I had a client, I kid you not, I had a client. She was from Slovenia, I think. Yeah, she was from Slovenia, Slovakia. Anyway, long story short, she was from Eastern Europe. And she had this wonderful product that she sold to ladies over 35 with stretch marks. I think it's my webinar. She had like a 20-minute something video, which she called a webinar. And I said, no, it's not. It's definitely not. Guess what? She did not have a VSL on the landing page. She sold her product on TikTok, okay? And then when people checked out her landing page, there was no VSL. It looked like just like a blog post. You know what we did? VSL, 90 seconds VSL. She talked about the problem, okay, in the first 20 seconds. And then for the next 20, 25 seconds, or maybe 30, she talked about the cost that people pay if they stay where they stay, with the stretch marks and everything, quite intense stuff. And the last, I don't know, a minute or so, she just talked about her solution. Nobody even read what's after that. She just had a button under it. Go buy my stuff. And that's how it went. Seriously, crazy. Okay, so yeah, nowadays, this is how it works. This is why I think info products have died. Done. End of story. Gone. Throw them out the window. Because most info products can be replaced with AI. I'm going to give you a real life example. So I'm using CapCut to edit these videos as much as I really want to edit them. Instead of buying a CapCut course, I went to ChatGPT and I just said, okay, what do I do? Give me a rundown. and I learned how to use CapCut, this much, as you can see on the screen right now, in about half an hour by doing obviously things and I asking ChatGPT on the side saying, okay, I managed to do this with that. How do I put filters on? Bang. And it told me. So I only took as much info as I needed to complete the project. And by completing enough projects, I'm learning. I'm learning how to add subtitles. I'm learning how to add multiple things. If I see something in someone's video, I'm asking ChatGPT that, hey, I saw Alex Hormozy do this. His head floats around and or is on the right hand side now, and then text coming up here and there. How do I do that? And then he explains it to me, or it explains it to me, and then I'm okay. See, I don't have to buy a course anymore. That's the death of info products. Crazy, isn't it? I know. So I'm not trying to frighten you because it's not the end yet. Definitely not the end yet. Because there are some people out there who really want that human touch. And there are some things, some skills out there that need to be taught with a mentor present. But most skills that required just learning can now be either replaced with AI or studied and learned using AI instead of buying a course. And here's another thing. Most of my clients sell courses, which is absolutely fine. Okay. Um, most of them brag about the length of their course. On the landing pages and in their offer, they say 11 hours worth of content. Who has 11 hours to spare just to look at something and then implement it later? Imagine that I'm going to ask you to tell me what you learned between hours 5 and 7, and let's implement it. Let's say in landing page creation. You don't even remember. You have to go back again and again and watch all 11 hours. And even worse, if you've had something, let's say at hour 3 or hour 5, you are already at hour 9. You don't remember where to go back to check again. So you have to start again because there's no search bar and stuff like that in courses. It's just videos after videos after videos, in most courses at least. So that's why I say to my clients, you teach someone with a 10-hour video content, good. Now let's cut it to 2 hours. And that's why AI is, for example, from my point of view, is one of the worst advocates when it comes to course creation. Because if you ask, for example, ChatGPT that you want to create a course on landing page creation, okay, it's going to give you all these long modules and all these bullcrap. And then you could say, okay, yeah, if I create every single one of these modules, every single one of these videos, it's going to be like 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes of video. It's going to add up. It's going to be like a 5-hour course. On the contrary, if you can explain someone in 45 minutes, let's say they are a beginner, how to start creating landing pages, what a good landing page looks like, and give them a couple of templates, you already saved their time, their life, and gave them something useful. That's the future of info products. Templates, maybe GPTs, apps, and personal presence. I have a small group of people who pay me to meet them every Friday. So these guys want me just to be present and look at their YouTube channels, their messaging, their offers, check out their webinars. Sometimes they pay me just to be on their webinars and be the moderators, if you know what I mean. Just so I can just simply send them a message in chat saying, "Slow down now," um, show them the poll now, stuff like that. And every Friday, these guys ask me the same question: will you be here next Friday? And I say, yeah, of course, because I enjoy doing that. Of course, 100%. But I enjoy doing that as well. I very rarely do this, but with these guys, I do it because I love the enthusiasm. And they told me exactly this. These are the words. This is what they collectively told me, that it's worth tens of thousands of dollars. That presence, that I'm there every Friday, so they can ask me week in, week out, whatever they want. And if I tell them that, hey, do this with your landing page, change the background. This is another one. Someone came to me with a reddish background. They had like red, pink, something background because they love the color. And I told them that change it to black, complete black, dark. And they were like, why? Okay, because most people watch TikTok and Instagram. That's where they were presenting their offer. I said most people watch TikTok and Instagram at night. So they use a dark mode. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to dark mode. So if they check out your landing page immediately comes on and starts blasting red or white into their eyes. Why don't you keep it dark as well? So use dark mode. If they use dark mode, keep your landing pages dark as well. So it's seamless, basically, the transition from Instagram dark mode to landing page dark mode. It's small, minor things like that. They changed it. They came back and they said, dude, 10% extra sales. How? So that's why. Where is your VSL? Is it above the fold, below the fold? And stuff like that. So they told me, I'm just hand on heart, they told me every single Friday worth tens of thousands of dollars because I am there and talking to them. It's worth tens of thousands of dollars. Why? Because it's interactive. You're talking to somebody who actually made it. You're talking to the real boss, Dale Carnegie. You're talking to the real boss man, Jeff Walker, not the AI this time. So you could be the Jeff Walker of your niche, your sub niche. You could be the person who's there for these people, but that comes with a cost, and that's why I think, from my point of view, that we had it good back in the day before AI. Now it's going to be extremely hard, very hard for people, next generation per se, to start selling digital products that's based on knowledge alone. It has to come from personal experience going forward, and it has to have some sort of a personal touch going forward. I am working on something new. It's still in the making, so I'm not going to advertise it just yet. But I'm working on something that's better than a whole course and better than a cohort and stuff like that. Um, but long story cut short, and this is why I created this video, to give you this extra information, this little edge. Start thinking in terms of personal touch, added personal touch, added apps, applications, and frameworks, and templates, and implementing AI into your teaching. Because the shorter amount of time you can get someone a good result, the more trust you gain and the better you are amongst your competition. Yes, that's how it works. So 10, 15, 20, or even 50-hour um, bonus added courses, gone. That's the past. Forget about them. Now, the brand new wave of doing and selling online stuff, mainly information content, is basically the shorter the better, the more implemented the better, and the more result focused is the better. No fluff anymore. Forget about fluff. That's not how it goes now. I'm just going to leave you with this. And as always, YouTube is way smarter than I am. So I'm just going to put a video in here next to my face. Watch that next. And yeah, leave a comment below. Let's start a conversation. Let's talk. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me today. Watch this video next. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and see you in the next one.